Welcome into the warm-up show. It is Tuesday, February 4th. Al, it is nice to see you, sir.
Jerry, this is the Postgame podcast.
It
the
is.
warm-up show is next.
Did I just say the warm-up show? For real?
Yeah, I didn't want to confuse the the tens of people on YouTube who are.
Did I really just say the warm-up show?
Yeah, he said welcome to the
welcome
warm-up
inside
show.
the Postgame podcast.
It's the same show, by the way.
Same day.
It's not. There's not much different. One lives on the radio, and one lives on the podcast platform. Jerry, we're what do you call that? Multi-layered
multifaceted dudes.
Yes, multifaceted.
I will
dudes.
tell you, we took my mother-in-law. It was her birthday, so we wound up going out for dinner last night, and we tried. We went out early, but by the time we went at 5:00 because my wife knows, and she's very supportive of me trying to get more normal a sleep as I can get, which means I got to be laying down by 8:00, and it means I got to eat no later than 6. We eat at 5:00. But you're not going to go out at 4. I mean, we're just not. So
I do.
I know you do.
Much to everyone else's chagrin.
I do have a family, though, that is on a different schedule.
Yes.
But still, we went out at 5. But still, by the time you eat, it's after 6:00.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, the sleep is just awful. Rolling around, don't feel right. And I even still stayed up till 8:30. Like, it was 2 hours. It's just not, you need that 3 hours.
Yeah, before you lay down after eating a meal.
Yeah, not great.
It'll screw you up.
It did.
I've been consuming a lot of interesting media, whether it be documentaries, YouTube videos, Netflix shows, and I'm become very interested in old things like from ancient civilizations, like that are still existing, and it's very strange to me these things that still exist. And it was in another, like, essentially was a different world.
Yeah, different time.
Like the Sphinx, for example, right? The pyramid stuff.
Mm-hmm.
These things in the mountains and the hills in Turkey.
Sure.
There are so many strange things in the world from worlds ago.
Did you see the story? I think it was Saturday. Maybe it was Sunday morning. That's both Saturday and Sunday. I usually make the coffee at 6:00, and I'm reading the Post, and I'm trying to catch up on stuff. The article and I only read a little bit of it because I actually thought it was stupid, even though it's probably true. Archaeologists found dinosaur puke.
Dinosaur vomit? How would he know what
give
that
me a
is?
break. What are we talking? I mean, come on. But you do listen to, and I've heard some of these archaeological experts on with Joe Rogan and other places, and they will tell you that, 70% of the earth still hasn't been explored.
Yeah.
And which I find amazing to think that, but then you put that in perspective. Well, then I guess a lot of stuff has not been unearthed yet because it's millions of years.
Yeah, I mean, we have no idea, first of all, what's going on in the oceans. That's one whole thing, right?
We don't.
Then all this other land that's not been explored. Even some of the things that they have found, like there's a place, I think it's in Turkey, Göbekli Tepe, I think it's called.
Okay.
Something like that. It was like this city that was buried. A farmer was clearing some land, and he saw this like rock, and when he started to undo the rock, all of a sudden it was like these things that had been buried. And they started excavating it, that they're not even near done with it because there's so much going on.
Right.
I just love to know how they did all of these things. Like we that's one thing. Like we have no idea.
What do you mean?
Just how they built them.
Well, a lot of it's just stone and mud in a lot of cases.
Yeah, but but sometimes they'll say like, oh, the stones. These stones weigh 2,000 tons, and they got these stones from 10 miles away. It's like, well, how the hell did they get them there?
Yeah, it's the same conversation we've had until you get an answer.
Yeah, but I saw one last night. There's a series on Netflix. I guess it's a couple years old. It must have been on A&E or something, and now Netflix has them. William Shatner is the host.
Oh, I've seen these.
Unexplained, it's called. Yeah. So there's like a season 5 is out now on Netflix.
That's like 95 years old, by the way, still working at a successful
rate.
I
was thinking about that. I was thinking about him as I was watching this. But they had like these ones that were just these churches that were carved out of like and its entire church, size of a church. And it was just carved out of the rock. Like it wasn't built.
Yeah.
The stuff around it was carved away. There's just these churches.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts.
How the hell are they doing?
I do not know.
And the precision measuring, and I would love to. How do we know? How will we know, Jerry?
I don't know that we will. I really don't. I don't know in our lifetime that we're going to know.
We're probably not.
Probably not. No. I think we'll just keep finding more and more and more. And maybe we will, in 100 years, find out somehow, some way that there was advanced civilization before an asteroid hit the Earth and we started over. Who knows?
Like that they had tools we're not aware of.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing, again, that I would always come back to is where is all the high tech stuff? How come none of that is ever found? It is you're right. Stuff is carved and look, but it's still all primitive. All the tools they find are very primitive. They're
The
very,
tools, yeah.
very basic. No one has ever, aside from when you see a photograph from 1930 and it's, oh, this person time traveled because look, they're holding an iPhone. No, they're probably not. It's probably a Crayola box that had a brown bag taped to it, and people think it's an iPhone because we're idiots. Until someone digs out from 10 feet in the ground something that resembles a real computer or something that looks technologically advanced, it's still very primitive.
That would be cool.
Well, that'd be scary, actually.
We found like an old computer.
I don't want to find that.
Yeah. I did see, like, it also seems weird, like if you when these archaeologists go to places like in Egypt or Turkey, Ethiopia, and they'll find like these tombs,
Yeah,
and then they open the tombs. I'd feel like I'm going to be cursed,
it's spooky,
right? That
Yeah.
you're opening up.
And
And then one of the things on one of these unexplained shows I was watching with William Shatner hosting, King Tut's tomb.
Mhm.
I guess when they had discovered that, they opened it up and there was a knife in there that they removed and like put it somewhere. But like
Sure.
3 or 4 of the guys died like within 3 months of
Yeah,
opening up King
I'd be
Tut's
freaked
tomb.
out by that.
Yeah.
Very freaked out by that.
I don't think we should be opening up people's tombs.
I don't either. I don't, but I think they do it to find jewelry, right? And gold. Isn't that usually what it's done for?
Well, that's what the thieves did many years ago. But the ones that are opening now, I think, are archaeologists just to.
Yeah, no thanks.
Yeah, but I feel like you shouldn't disturb the dead.
Right. Even though nothing might happen, I think all of a sudden it gets in your head that it could happen.
You don't even like, sometimes you'll hear about it in like a murder case.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
when they excavate the body.
Yeah, where they want to do like more testing on a body. Like, I don't know, man.
Right.
That body's in the ground.
I know. But if you're going to bring to justice the person that might have done it.
Yeah.
Like, would you want your body exhumed if, in fact, the killer was roaming free and they figured something?
Yeah, I guess so.
To the killer?
I guess so, because I'm of the belief that your body is just the body for your soul. Like once your soul leaves, the body is just there. But I'm going to be cremated, so I don't know how they're going to. They better do all the DNA testing on me before they put me in that oven.
Such an awful conversation.
A couple other weird things on this William Shatner show, Unexplained. They have like these religious artifacts that they believe are the actual. They have a spearhead that when Jesus was on the cross being crucified, he wasn't dying quick enough, so a guy stabbed him with the.
Really?
Yeah, and they have that.
Well, how do they know that that's the spear?
I don't know. They think they have that spear.
Based on what exactly?
I'm not sure how they.
Because of where they found it and where the cross was?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I think
you're telling me
based
there weren't dozens of spears there? So someone just decided, we'll just leave it here.
Yeah, I don't know.
And it sat there for thousands of years.
There was an explanation, and legitimately, I watched this last night. I already don't remember what it was.
I don't know.
But they had that. They have. Do you ever see the Shroud of Turin, which is that piece of cloth that was laid on Jesus?
I think so.
His face is in it.
Yeah,
his whole body actually is in it.
Is that true?
That's interesting too.
That one, at least, you can make the case that here's the proof. I mean, look at it.
Yeah,
the spear to me is a spear.
Yeah. That was an interesting one though. But they had it. And by the way, it didn't look very primitive.
The spear?
Yeah. Well, they had like the spear head, the knife on there. But it did not look like a carved rock. It looked like
metal of some sort.
Yeah, it looked like a metal of some sort.
Could have been.
Then I'm seeing pictures from Mars this week that show what people think is a structure on Mars.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Haven't we discovered Mars already?
Yeah, I don't know, dude.
Like it looked like a buried box of some sort, like a box shape, square shape.
Okay. And would they determine that to be?
Well, they don't know. There's like, what is this? Was there at one point life on Mars?
There wasn't.
I don't think there was either.
I don't believe that to be the
Well,
case.
what is that
but
structure then?
I also don't know.
We don't know, right?
We don't
That's
know.
what I mean. There's so many things.
Have you ever thought? And it's funny you bring this up, only because I was looking at the moon. We had like the crescent moon the other day,
Yeah.
and this is we don't need to go in this direction, but this could lead to a different conversation. You ever think about like how much money the government and even a company like SpaceX, all these different, I'm sure there have been others that have tried to get involved. How much money has gone into trying to fly into space in all these years that have gone by? And really, where are we? We went to the moon a couple of times and haven't done it supposedly and haven't done it since. And yet we've got homeless people all over the world. But we put trillions of dollars into trying to fly into space.
Yeah.
For what exactly?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like what? Like this would be my question. The race to the moon. Why? Just so that we can say we got there before Russia? Because what was going to happen? Russia was going to claim the planet as their own and do what with it?
I don't know. I think they
Like-
just wanted to show their technical superiority to us, and we would not allow it.
But why couldn't we be superior somewhere else then?
I'm not sure.
And put our resources into something?
I do
I don't
think
know.
that scientists actually think that by going to these different planets, we're going to try to find a way to move people there.
Why don't? How about here's a better idea. Why don't we try to take care of where we live already?
Well, that's the whole argument about like
Like I don't know.
foreign aid versus taking care of people
yeah.
at home.
Yeah, I know. Billions of dollars going to different countries, and yet we have issues here. And yet, to fix a bridge, we have to tax everybody up the ass. I don't know.
Right.
Maybe we send maybe 50 million less.
And then we don't have to do the up the ass tax.
Yeah. Like, are there other countries, and I wouldn't know this, are there other countries that send foreign aid all over the place, or is it just us?
Feels like just us.
Does Canada send foreign aid? Does
Canada? I doubt it.
I don't know. I'm asking.
I don't know.
Does Great Britain send foreign aid? Does
I think-
Switzerland send aid?
I think Great Britain does.
Okay. Does Australia send money to
I don't think
people?
so.
I
It's
know
probably us in Britain.
No, our country does.
Yeah.
A crap ton of it.
But then the argument is if you don't send the foreign aid, then
I'm not
that-
saying
like if I guess the argument for like sending weapons to countries to fight other countries is that you don't want those countries losing because then
they take over.
the other guys take over.
But I'm not saying not to help out and not send it. What I'm saying is we send so much when we have so many problems here. That's all. And,
Yeah.
and my question is, are they not getting, and are we as the supporters not getting help from other countries? Why is it? It just seems like it's just the United States, and yet we're the bad guys to people.
Right.
All we do is help.
Yeah. There was a song by the Kinks that goes, Catch Me Now I'm Falling, you may know. This is Captain America calling, calling, catch me now I'm falling. And they're Brits,
Mhm.
the Kinks. But it was a song about like America's always helping all these other countries. Then when America gets down on its luck, no one sends us crap.
Right. Right. Exactly.
Guys do nothing for us.
When was the last time Poland sent us something?
Yeah, Poland.
I don't know.
Get a tariff on their asses.
Come on, Sweden, we need some cash.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah. The politics are crazy. Did you hear,
very
did you hear
confusing.
Stephen A by any chance?
No.
I
Stephen A. Smith.
was going to play it at 7:30, or maybe 8:30, but because of the Bill Cowher interview, they got to me very late. I never got to it. I'm not saying he's going to run for president at all, but I guess the Democratic Party is so pissed off at him for being so critical of, as he would say, they were ill prepared and got embarrassed in his opinion, during the whole campaign and everything, that he is so livid with the Democrat that he right now he loves his life, no interest in politics. But I mean, basically what he was saying is, you might force me into doing this.
I might have to become a politician just because
Yes.
we need
Oh my
people.
God, could you imagine? And I got to be honest with you, I don't know that he wouldn't win.
Yeah, he seems very
Why not?
likable guy.
Why not? You
Why
never
not?
know. You never know.
I think if you're a good public speaker, you could be pretty convincing.
I think he can. He's very convincing.
Yeah, he's a good talker.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. So
What else did I write down here? There, I told you all the weird stuff
Oh
I'm
boy.
consuming. I was listening to a podcast on my way in.
Hmm.
This is the Sean Ryan podcast. This guy's like a former military guy.
I think I've heard of this guy.
Yeah, he had a popular podcast out a couple weeks ago after the bomber in Las Vegas,
Okay.
the Cybertruck bomber.
Hmm.
He
In
had a
front of the
guy
Trump building.
on. Yeah, he had a guy on that supposedly got an email from this truck bomber prior to the thing, so his name got around there.
Okay.
He had a guy on I was listening to today is a guy who claims he was abducted by a UFO. Chris Bledsoe is his name. Older guy now, but he claimed in 2007 he got abducted by his UFO. Anyway, in the middle of this interview, he talks about that Jesus himself will be returning on Easter of 2026,
Okay.
and that he knows this because of the way the sun will line up with the paw of the Sphinx, where there's a jewel that is then going to shoot off the light. Like, is everybody crazy,
Hmm.
or do people know things others don't know? That's my question.
Well, how many times? I mean, I went to Catholic school, and I was told every year that Jesus was going to rise from the dead,
Hmm.
and that he was going to be back again one day. So maybe it'll be Easter 2026. You know how many times people have claimed
Yeah.
that they saw Mary? Remember, was it in Tom's River? Remember in Jersey, they said there was you saw Mary at the people's house.
Yes.
Remember that? And then cars were lining up for this glimpse of, I don't remember what it was, but it was a big story. I don't know. I honestly, I don't know what is in our heads anymore and what is real, because I feel like, especially with mental health is now a big thing.
Yeah.
We've got therapists all over the place. You can have one in the comfort of your own home, online on Zoom. It's a big business. It is business. I don't know how sane we are as a society, and what's real. I don't know.
Yeah. I've heard so many UFO stories
Yeah.
from seemingly very credible people.
Hmm.
This guy does not sound like he's lying to me.
Right.
You know, I think if all of these people, the Jesus is coming back people, the abduction people, all these people, I think if all of them were given lie detector tests, they would pass.
Yeah, because they probably believe what they're saying.
So, I'm saying, like, are all of these people telling the truth, or are they all lying, or is that like, are they here?
But in another reality,
Yeah.
I
I
don't.
don't know what is going on.
I do not
I've been
know.
consuming so much bizarre stuff where people sound very truthful,
Yeah.
and it's out of this
Well, let
world
me ask you
stuff.
this. And I know, I mean, when you talk about religion, obviously you're stepping into a different conversation to a certain degree. But again, I went to Catholic school for 9 years and then 4 years of Catholic high school, went to church all the time. As I got older, though, I started to realize the business side of the church. And it is, I'm sorry, it is a business, because without the donations, they can't run their operation. You just can't. And there are many cynics that will say, what's the difference between a cult and a church? Why is a church not a cult? They're sitting there preaching these stories that they believe to be real, but there's no scientific evidence that they are real. So when a priest is up there telling you the story of whatever, does he really believe it, or is he selling the story so that you'll hand over more money? Is he here in reality, or is he in a these are all very interesting. The people that are in that church that go religiously every single Sunday, and sometimes Kim works in a Catholic school. There are people that go to weekly masses. I didn't even know they had them. A 9 a.m. Wednesday mass. Who knew? Are they so far entrenched in belief that in their mind, it's real, even though, prove it to me, they can't.
Yeah.
I think it's the way you train your mind.
Yeah. I know. It's just so hard trying to figure out what's real
Yeah.
and what's not real.
And I will continue to say, I think Hollywood plays a big part in this. If there were no Hollywood movies with these far out crazy ideas, where would we get them from? Honestly.
I don't know, unless the Hollywood movies are getting the ideas from real things.
Potentially. It very well could be the case. I don't know. But I will tell you, I've never seen a spaceship the size of 2 US cities flying over Earth yet.
Yeah, I haven't
Like
seen that either.
like an Independence Day. I mean,
Yet again, I have heard stories where someone said a ship flew over that was the size of a football field.
and yet no one captured it.
Right. But the person telling the
Right.
story
So did they see it
is
or
really
did they
believing.
envision it? Did
Yeah,
they dream it?
right. That's the thing.
Have you ever woken up from a dream and wondered and felt like it was real and
Yes.
felt like you might have actually experienced that while you were sleeping?
Right. Did you go to another dimension or was that just in your brain sleeping?
100%.
Or can your brain put you in another dimension?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there are so many, and I shouldn't say so many times, but from time to time, and I just telling my wife this over the weekend, we talk about a lot of different things. And sometimes we'll talk about our past and, your time at Colonia High School. I'll talk about my time at SJV sometimes. And there was a kid that I went to grammar school with for, I think, 3 years. I think he was there for fifth, sixth, and seventh. And then his family moved. That dude popped into my dream last Thursday, and he was from the town that both Kim and I grew up in, which is why I mentioned it to her because she knew him too. I'm like, isn't that weird that I was? And she's like, what were you doing? I'm like, we were bowling. I woke up. I felt like I was bowling that
Yeah,
night,
that you bowled with him.
but I didn't. I don't think, unless my body left the bed and I was bowling with this guy. I don't even haven't seen in 40 years. Don't even know if he's still alive.
Yeah, Joe Rogan brought that up recently. He said for the people that have alien abduction stories, he said if there was a camera in their room, did they leave or did their mind just go,
Right.
their consciousness?
Right. Because our brains are so creative and there's so many images that we have stored up there since we've been born. God only knows what the hell is going on.
That the sleep thing is
I
really
agree.
interesting to me because I can't imagine where you go where like if someone passes away and you're like, where are they today? Like where did that guy go?
Yeah.
Where was your son before he was born? Like where was
There's no creation.
that being that you know as your son? Where
Mhm.
was that? But then every night we disappear for 7 hours, 6 hours in
Mhm.
our sleep where that time is gone. If you have no dreams, nothing
Right.
happened. Like,
Your body is just recuperating, but there's nothing.
yeah, you have no recollection of where you were those past 6 hours
No.
other than, you're in your bed, but where did your mind
You ever have one of
go?
those sleeps where you literally shut your eyes and you wake up and it's like 8 hours just passed
Yeah.
and God knows what just happened in the world? I think of
Yes.
not every morning, but a lot of mornings going to work, like, because it's the middle of the night for us and everything's so peaceful and quiet. And if you think like, boy, that house, everyone's asleep. It's nuts. And then the world's alive at like 5:30. It starts to become, but what's going on in those hours? Meantime, in Japan or in Australia, hustle bustle and it's a different time of day and it's just, yeah, it's nuts.
When I'm out with my dog at like 2:30, I'm like, I'm the only mofo out here right now.
The only idiot that's
All
up.
these other people have dogs. Those dogs are asleep and
Yeah,
they're asleep.
that is true.
But just that sleep thing is really bizarre to me. Just how we lose track of that time. And is that what it's like when
We don't lose track of it, we lose it.
yeah, you lose it?
Yeah,
And is that what it's like when you are no longer on the earth? Are you just in
I think lights
sleep
out.
in
I
sleep
do. I
mode?
think it's lights out.
Because sometimes dreams are cool,
Dreams are very cool.
right? You don't have to go to work in your dream.
Right, but now you're starting to enter into the equation, does your conscience survive after you physically die?
Right.
What? Your conscience is just floating around in the air and
And do we pick another body to go
right, and then
into?
you jump into a black crow. Now you're getting into reincarnation, and
A black crow.
I
That'd be
just
cool.
I don't.
When you said black crow, do you mean the bird or the rock band?
I meant the bird.
Oh.
I don't know why that popped into my head.
So I'd be interested in being in the black crows.
But you better be careful as to what you jump into,
right.
because there's always going to be something bigger and stronger and better than you, or than the animal, or the whatever you decide to. And then would you think worse of yourself for killing rodents and bugs
Yeah.
and all those things that you know? I don't know.
These are deep
They are.
questions,
They're
Jerry.
very deep questions that I will never have answered.
I know, that's the thing. We're
We'll never
never
have
getting
answers.
answers to that.
And that's the whole thing about religion too, which is the brilliance of it, and also the thing that sucks about it is that until your dying day, you can truly believe that there's something better on the other side. And if you're wrong, you're not going to know. But it's also logical to think there's not.
Right. You have to be like George Michael. You gotta have faith.
Right, which is fine. I'll choose hope instead of faith.
Hope.
Yes.
Okay. Hope is also good.
But I've always said all that stuff is nonsense. But hope is not. Hope to me is a great belief that there is something better. But I'm not going to sit there and tell you that it is. I don't know
Who
any more than you
knows?
do, or the priest up there, or Eddie, or anybody else. No one knows. Not even Indiana Jones.
He don't know nothing.
No, he doesn't.
All right, Jerry. Well, I say we do the warm-up show then.
Well, I thought we just did that.
This was the post-game podcast. We'll do the warm-up show, and we'll see you. Is tomorrow Wednesday?
Yes. It is
Okay.
Wednesday.
You're here the whole week.
I'm here all of this week and all of next week.
Nice.
The week after that, a little dicey.
A little dicey with the little basketball situation.
Go out west.
Go out west. Okay. So